Hi, Josh. We're back on the Homestead SM. Wait a minute. Where the hell am I? This isn't the Homestead. This isn't even modern Minecraft. This is vanilla! Oh my god. Buddy. What have we done? Okay, bud. I am going to absolutely inundate you with replay mod time lapses and some clips with no audio. That'll give us a chance to chat and enjoy some tunes while I clean up a few loose ends I left dangling when this series went on hiatus. I feel like I've been making a lot of talky episodes lately, so I appreciate you bearing with me. Also, I was very excited to have the replay mod back, so I went a little nuts with it. I hope you don't mind. First and most glaring issue. What happened to Homestead? Well, the server's been having some heartburn lately. I've been trying to work on the project I planned for episode 19, but I haven't even been able to get on the server most days. I'm assuming this is somehow mod related, but I'm honestly not sure. Despite saying in my intros that Homestead is lightly modded, it's actually kind of a hefty pack. There are 47 mods in the Homestead pack, and I suspect that some of them are starting to take a toll on the server. I want to emphasize that, in my experience, this is normal for a heavily modded server. The one that you and I used to run, for instance, eventually crashed and was completely unrecoverable. I still have the world save file for it, but I don't know that I can ever do anything with it. From what I understand, modded servers require a lot of maintenance just to stay viable long term. So the fact that Ninny kept Homestead running smoothly for as long as he did is a testament to his patience and, I think, technical ability. If, after making this episode, I'm able to reliably get back on the Homestead server and get some work done, you can expect 2 more episodes out of that series. I'd like to finish the project for episode 19, and then I'd like to do a bit of a world tour for the episode 20 send-off. Word went out on Discord that the server is running right now, but that was also the case the last 2 times I tried to log in and get some work done, so who knows how long that'll last. Even Ninny is not super hopeful. If we can't make the next 2 episodes on the Homestead server, Ninny tells us that he is working on providing everybody who has played on the server a copy of the world download, so maybe we can get those done offline in the near future. Regardless, I will do my best to bring you 2 more Homestead episodes, and then we will retire that series. And if we simply can't manage to make 2 more episodes of Homestead happen, we'll find some other way to give that series the farewell that it so richly deserves. Next, didn't I say just 2 weeks ago that Va-ni-lla Mine-craft wasn't coming back yet? What's this on your screen right now? Yes, I did in fact say that, and at the time, I meant it. However, I have had a pretty serious craving for some Minecraft lately, and with the Homestead server more miss than hit, I decided to scratch the itch with a reliable friend. I'm not going to make any promises about the future of this series just yet, but wandering around the world reminded me how many projects we have lined up, and I got a little excited. We'll just have to see what happens with Homestead first, and if I can maintain this level of enthusiasm. Next, with regards to this particular world, the vanilla world, and the status of Minecraft as a whole. This series is currently in 1.16.3. I made backups, and then I updated it to 1.16.5, and then further on to 1.17. They both worked just fine, and all of our projects and farms were unbroken. However, I discovered that the replay mod was not yet available for 1.17, and Optifine was questionable at best. The replay mod didn't even seem to work properly in 1.16.5, though that could be a me problem. So I decided to stick with what I know works. I'll keep an eye out for updates, and once that happens, I'll migrate the world. Once we do that, I plan to reset all chunks of the overworld that don't have a project or a farm in them. We will get some 1.17 content in this world at some point in the not-too-distant future. Finally, you may be wondering where the hell I got my hands on music that won't get me shut down. Lo-Fi Girl, the 24/7 YouTube radio channel, or one of them, recently announced that all of their music is free to use for streaming and VOD content. I love that channel, so I was very excited to go through their massive catalog and find some of my favorite tracks to add life to my videos and streams. You'll likely be hearing a lot of Lo-Fi Girl in my videos in the future. There will always be a link in the description, so if you hear something you love, it'll be easy to find. Special shout out to the oldest child who gave me the heads up about the announcement and probably deserves a cookie or something. After nearly 17 years, I'm still not sure if I'm doing this parenting thing right. I'll have to ask him about that. Okay, now to address what's actually been happening on the screen. If you stretch your memory back to episode 10, we moved an entire ocean temple to the surface, just to house our guardian farm. But we left it floating because I ran out of time for the episode. I also ran out of resources, but that was basically just a time issue too. So, as soon as I hopped back into this world, I did some more sand gathering. Once again, not enough as it turns out, so back to the desert I will go. Next, I wanted to connect the farm to our Nether passages, so I had to do some math and then some digging. I still managed to biff the link, as you could see, but dismantling the overworld generated portal and going through the one that I had already built downstairs was enough to link them together after the fact. This Nether hall linking the portal to our previous passage is just a continuation of our already established palette, so don't expect anything revolutionary. Eventually, I'd love to do something really grand for a Nether hub, but all good things in time. There are so many other projects I want to do first, and I need to know where everything is going to be, so that I can plan the hub properly. I would hate to build something really impressive and then have to improvise portal placement afterward, or worse yet, just throw them up in the middle of everything. Okay, so that's basically everything I had planned to talk about, but we still have 2 to 3 minutes to fill. I told you I went a little nuts with the replay mod, but it's so much fun to create these swooping shots and try to follow the action. I just couldn't help myself. And now, I'm really excited to start exploring the further capabilities of the mod and really turn it up a notch. I mentioned during the first time-lapse, that desert mining scene, that I felt like I'd been doing a lot of talky episodes lately. Now I want to be completely clear, I do not mean that to sound like an apology. My original conception of this channel was to have a place to talk to you, and I would happen to be playing video games while I did it. Any further entertainment value was just going to be incidental. Instead, what we've ended up with is a channel almost entirely focused on the action on screen, and conversations with you just happen almost as an accidental byproduct. I'm not saying that I'm unhappy with the direction the channel's gone. I'm having a ton of fun making content and sharing it with the world, but don't be surprised if we do this a little bit more often. It's been a few years now since the last time we hung out, but I still find myself thinking, I can't wait to get home and show Josh when I come across something awesome. So I guess you can consider this fair warning. You'll probably be hearing from me a little more often in the future. So, this series of time-lapses will finish about 9 minutes into the episode, and you're probably wondering what we're going to do with the rest of our time today. Full transparency, I wasn't sure what this episode was going to be either when I started it, which is why I tried to fill a solid chunk of time showing you all the cleanup projects I did instead of just doing them off-screen and then spending less than a minute recapping. Given that I was expecting to keep working on the Homestead project, I was feeling a bit of time stress, and I didn't want to start a massive project here that would cause me to run out of time. Also, the oldest stayed with me for the entire last week before this episode went up, and I didn't want to spend 100% of my time working on Minecraft and completely neglecting him. I guess I do have some parenting instincts after all. I want to handle a couple of shorter projects this episode, and I can think of one thing in particular that will help us in the future. So right here, coming out of our Nether hub area, there's a series of Nether fortresses. The one we left is number 1, here's number 2, and then if you come down here, there's a third one, and I think there might even be a fourth one over here. Yep, there it is. So I spent about half an hour just flying around from fortress to fortress and hunting wither skeletons. And I collected the requisite 3 heads and some soul sand, and now I think we should go summon ourselves a wither so we can make a beacon. Because there will be a lot of digging in our future for several of the projects that I have planned. Alright, I have taken myself thousands of blocks away from home. I have slapped on a chest plate in place of my wings, and I have mostly cleared my inventory. I have the soul sand, and I have the skulls, and I have dug myself a pit in the ground. So, we are going to come down here, and look what I happened to find while I was looking for a nice deep place to do this wither fight. You can't really tell because it's spinning so fast, but that is a skeleton spawner. So I decided that we are going to run this gambit. We're going to put the wither right here, and then while it's charging up, we're going to run down here and pop all the torches, and then run down here. And while it's firing at us, it's going to kill a bunch of skeletons, and we're going to get wither roses out of it. I call that a win-win. Let's do this thing. Alright. Hi, skeleton. Don't mind me. Alright, it's making pretty quick work of the obsidian, I think. But we are making pretty quick work of his health bar. You know, I really thought that it would kill more skeletons. I didn't expect it to fully destroy the skeleton spawner. I really thought that we were going to get something out of that. Well, on the bright side, we have a whole bunch of obsidian. I went down and mined some of it so that I could line the wall and maybe slow it down a little bit. Wow, that skeleton spawner was gone in just a second. That's disheartening. But we got the main thing that we came for, and also we got a wither head. I love this smile. Alright, let me go recollect all of my goods, and we can get out of this hole in the ground. Alright, so we have our beacon now. Unfortunately, we do not have the iron to support this. We're going to need a lot of iron, which means we're probably going to have to make an iron farm. However, let me just stash this away. You may see that there's a whole bunch of crap in my inventory. And there's a whole bunch more crap in this shulker. And I've got shulker boxes just littering the place. And there are some strange blocks that have taken place of part of the house. And there are more blocks outside the window. And that is because we are finally going to leave this box of a starter house behind. Remember I said we were going to build brownstones? Well, I have started that process. This is going to be our road, remember. We're going to hopefully build a squid farm under at least part of it. But this is going to be our road. The road will be at the level of the river. This is how we're going to do the brownstones. So each one is going to have a path that leads up from the road to the front. I don't want to say yard because it's just a paved area. Some of them will have a little door. Some of them will just have a window. And they will all have stairs that lead up to the front doors. Double doors. Some of them will have little overhang arches and some won't. And I'm going to try to vary them all. So some of them will have overhangs and some won't. And I'm going to try to bring these back not quite all the way into the hill because I don't want to build them into the hill, but I'm going to bring them back hopefully far enough that, for instance, we can mask the entrance to the melon and pumpkin farm. And I want to use this first one. I want to use an area right here to go down to our spider farm, which is all the way over here. And then we'll just make a path underground. So this is going to be our palette. We're going to use this polished basalt for the garden walls, I'll say. We'll use some chains, and we'll use a different material for each house. So far we've got stripped oak, stripped acacia, this is stripped spruce. This isn't this isn't staying. This is just a placeholder. We're going to use smooth sandstone, like the cooked kind that has no texture to it. Stripped dark oak, and brick. And we might keep going. I'm not sure because I know that I want to take the road along here, but it's also going to curve away there. So we'll see what we do with the rest of this stretch, but I wanted to get these first 6 started. Once we have these all in place with a roof, I'm not going to wall off the interior. I'm going to leave the interior open. All of this is just going to be the exterior aesthetic. And then we're going to turn that into our base, because we're going to have to tear down this box to make room for them. Let me get a little bit more work done, and I'll give you an update. I realized it wouldn't be possible to do that smooth sandstone facade that I mentioned without coming over here and collecting all of my sandstone. I left it all over here while I was finishing up this place, which now, let's take a look. Looks much more complete. It blends more into the ground. It goes all the way down to the ground now. Come all the way down here, and it's in the gravel. The only thing that I haven't finished is the back. And I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to blend that into the landscape over here. And I'm also realizing I didn't really need to waterlog this entire landscape. I didn't need to do this giant flood job, because Guardians are a different mob cap than everything else. So that's unfortunate, and that's a lot of time wasted, but I think it was really impressive. And it's in keeping with the swamp, so I'm not too angry about it. We have made progress on the facades. I have 3 of them done so far, just the fronts, and I can do the brick front, but then in order to do the dark oak and the smooth sandstone, we're actually going to have to chop away a chunk of the house. So I think it might be time to do that. I've already chopped a couple of blocks to make room over here. I had to chop away some of the eaves of the house. But I feel like this is a bit of a momentous occasion. You know, we're destroying our starter base to make room for the future of this area. And I felt like it was something that I didn't want to do just completely off camera and then be like, oh, chop down the house. So I thought that I would have you along for the ride while we did at least a little bit of this. Now I am going to have to move a whole lot of items out of these chests. And I'm going to have to move a bunch of other stuff. Some of the flooring, some of the carpeting, the furnaces. It's going to be a chore. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to get working on these facades. And then I will get back with you for another update. The 6 facades that I initially mentioned are done. I think I like them a lot. And I added a little bit of a peak to one of them. It's going to be kind of a false facade peak. The roof is still going to be level with all the rest of the fronts. But I've seen some pictures of brownstones that have, you know, the occasional false peak like this. I decided that I hated the little overhang above the door, and so I removed it. I'm just going to keep these all flat-fronted. And the only reason all of these are flat-fronted is because it's basically impossible to make a very small, narrow bay window with the palette that we have available to us in Minecraft. So I'm going to leave all of these flat-fronted. You might notice that the spruce one right there with the false peak sticks out a little bit, and that's because that's the one without any kind of an overhang or an eaves type of situation going on. Get out of here, tall grass. Get out of here, seed. But I wanted to make this one stick out a bit and give it the peak, and I think that this look works. The fact that these are 2 and 2 and 2 was purely incidental. It just managed to work with the color scheme, and now I'm realizing I missed some blocks. You always need to step back and take a look to realize you missed something. I think I would like to continue these on. I think that's what I would like to do. And that will give us the opportunity to hide the villager, the temporary villager trading hole entrance and exit. And eventually we are going to move all those villagers over here to our Grand Hotel. But for now, I would like to extend this. I think I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I'm not going to keep this pattern going. I might try to find some more materials that I can use. But I'm going to keep this pattern going. And we'll just bring it along, I think, until the end of the hill over here. So that'll probably give us another 3 or 4 facades that we can work with, and that'll give us more interior space. I'm hoping that this will be a nice big storage room. Why don't I get a little bit more work done, and then catch up with you again. Okay, I was fully expecting to finish this, at least the exterior, before I gave you another update, because these piecemeal crap updates are just not doing it for me, or probably for you. But I'm kind of proud of this. We finished the front facade. So I only duplicated texture once with the dark oak here, but that's because I needed something nice and dark that would go in between the end brick and the birch, and I think it worked out pretty well. We've got some unique colors. We've got a couple that stick out a bit, and I didn't realize that I made the false peaks symmetrical. They're the third in from each end, and I didn't realize that until just now, and that I'm going to try not to let that bother me. I am bothered a little bit by the fact that I stayed boring with these walkways. I did 2 andesite, 2 granite, 2 andesite, and then I made it interesting over here. But you know, I think that that's going to be alright, because some neighbors are boring and some are eccentric, and I think that this turned out pretty well. We've got a door on the main level, the first floor, the basement, I guess, every other entrance. So that'll make it easy for us to get in and out without having to climb stairs every time. I'm going to finish the sides and the roofs and the back now. And I will not give you another update until I have completed that. The exterior is done. Now, I might add some embellishment at some point to make it look a little bit less flat and a little bit less plain. But we've got sides, we've got back, we've got roof. This is sealed. So it's safe to be inside now. Not that there's much to the inside. Damn it! You know, I just said it was safe to be in here, and you gotta go and make me a liar. Maybe he spawned on top of the shulkers. So I tore down the entirety of the starter house, but I left up all the shulkers and chests where they were, because I thought it was kind of funny that we could see the outline of the house without actually having the house here anymore. So I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna put in an actual floor. I would like to put a floor up right here at this block. It's in the dead center of those windows. We'll have a floor there, and then we'll have a floor here at the bottom of the doors. And I think what I would like to do is dig this out one layer and put just a stair up to each of these doors. And that way we can have a little bit more room so that we're not directly under the previous floor. The plan for this place, as I've already mentioned, is storage. Now, this is a very, very wide place, so we have plenty of room for storage. And because we're going to have 3 stories inside this building, we can separate it all out. So we'll have plenty of access to all of our storage. We'll have plenty of room to store all the things. We don't need to keep them all sequestered away in shulker boxes anymore, jammed into a few chests. We'll actually have room to spread out now. Also, we have a little entrance back here to the melon and pumpkin farm. And what I would like to do is put an entrance to the spider farm right here in the corner. And we can just drop down there and walk along underground. That way we don't need to run around this narrow little hillside to get to the spider farm on the outside. And it won't look quite as unappealing to just have a hole and a water stream. I'm going to get this place cleaned up, make sure it's properly lit, and I'll come back to you once we have an interior storage designed. The amount of shit that I've collected over the life of this series looks way less impressive when it's packaged up like this. Other than the things that are over at the farms, this is literally everything that we own right now. Now, keep in mind, these 2 chests are just chock full of ender chests. But still, this is everything. And now I have to put it all into a big storage system. I got the basement floor done, and I put stairs in, and I discovered that right out here on the front garden patios of these row houses, mobs like to hang out, and then when I go outside to kill a skeleton, two creepers drop from somewhere and explode and make a giant fucking mess. So I'm gonna have to check that out and find a way to creeper safe this place. Oh my god, I just want to find some fucking wood. I just need to find wood to make more chests. Where the fuck is... I could have sworn it was one of the... I said ender chests earlier, I meant shulker boxes. I could have sworn it was one of the shulkers that I left out. But that is not the case. Where the fuck did I put... There it is. Okay, well there's one of them. That's good enough. I don't need it to be the perfect one. I just need it to be good enough. God damn it. Oh, thank you. It's done. Like, for real done. This is the last time that I will need to stand up on this hill and show you this building, because the inside is done. It's not fancy. There's nothing special going on here. But here is our front entrance. We've got a little bit of a smelting capacity. This is temporary. I have something planned for the future. And then we have a bunch of empty chests over here. This gives you the general idea of the layout. And then over here, I only placed enough chests so that I could figure out where my melon and pumpkin farm entrance should be. I moved it over 2 blocks. And now it goes straight back into the pass-through in between these 2 rows of chests. So it's actually properly centered now, and that feels a lot better. And it just so happened to work out perfectly that it fits within the scheme that we established over here. So, I've got 2 points at which you can go upstairs or back down, because there is a hole in the floor right here. So, why don't we go upstairs? Ah, sneaky little glass panes. You like it? Just hop upstairs. And this is the first floor. This is where the stairs come up to. We have a little bit of an indicator at each point as to what's going to be in here. Terracotta is in this group of chests. We've got all the different stones, the andesite and diorite and granite and stone and stuff. We've got all the different dirts here. We've got sands and gravels and sandstones here. We've got all the woods here. And then this is where it starts to go a little off the rails, because once you run out of blocks, you've just got all the nature crap. So we've got some ice. We've got some non-packed ice, a little bit. And then we've got like other stuff. We've got snow. We've got a little bit of room for growth. We've got all of our coral. We've got our sea pickles. And then we move on from there. So there's a mushroom block and a kelp block. So we've got kelp, we've got all of the different nature crap, the mushrooms and the cacti, and more room for growth. We've got flowers, we've got beehives. So it's going to keep going on like this. This one, I love that I was able to use the dragon egg for this, because this is mob drops. So we've got, you know, some hostile mob drops, and then the stuff that we're going to get a lot of. And I tried to alphabetize a lot of these things where it made sense to do so. We've got more nature stuff. We've got our food. This is an indicator of food. So we've got all of our different foods and seeds and stuff. And then we've got our nether and end stuff over here. And that's what that's supposed to indicate. I might replace the crying obsidian with something more nether appropriate, but I really love the crying obsidian, so for now it can stay. And then, instead of another water column, we just have a stairway that leads up to the top. And over here we don't really have any indicators because we don't really have anything in a lot of these. But this is going to be the floor for like finished goods. You may notice that I have a crafting table in between each set of chests. And these 2 center sets are 1 chest stack less because I wanted some room to move around. Right here we have all of our shulker boxes. Look at that. That's almost 2 full chests worth of shulker boxes that we were just using for storage before. That's fucking ridiculous. I don't think there's anything else in here. I was leaving a lot of room to expand. Plus, like, that entire side. Oh! I almost forgot. I haven't put up an indicator here, but this is not just empty. This is our ores and valuable goods. And if you come this way, see, I've got sea lanterns and glass, so we've got sea lanterns, we've got glass, and then I think we've got nothing else in here. Yeah. We've got concrete. I've got some colors, and I've got a whole ton of concrete powder. We've got villager stuff. We've got books, we've got bookshelves, we've got villager workstations, We've got beds, and then I think I made all of these, but I got these from end rating, and I'm not going to worry about what's what. I'm just going to try to stick everything together. And then this is, remember I said it, this is where it goes off the rails. Like, this is truly where it goes off the rails, because I'm just throwing shit in here, and I'm trying to make a little bit of sense of it, but, like, it's going to be, we've got so many treasure maps. At some point, I'm just going to go out and find all of them. But then we've got, like, a bunch of the useful machined things, you know, the pistons and the anvil and stuff, and a lot of room for growth. And then over here is where I keep all of the end gear that I grabbed from raiding the end, and I'm sure that'll grow too. So I've left us a lot of room to expand up here because there's so much capacity that we're not using. And honestly, we could use this entire side if we want. I'm just trying to future-proof a little bit without really going overboard. The idea that I originally had for this building was that I was going to make the building deeper that way, because it's already super wide. And what I was going to do was set up an auto filter system, which would use the filtering that's, what, 3 or 4 blocks wide, I think, and that we've seen over at the Witch and Sugarcane Farm and back there in the honey area. I was going to use those, and I was going to set up like a chest for everything. And each stack was only going to be about 1 tall, maybe 2. And the water was going to run all the way down, and then all the way back, and then all the way down, and then all the way back. And it would probably take a solid 5 minutes. So, you know, we're at risk of things despawning. But I was planning on just having everything filtered. And then I realized that is a lot of work for a very little potential payoff. I'm just going to set up chests, and I know where everything is. And now I've got indicators of what all is in each section. So it's a lot less front-end effort for just a tiny bit more back-end work to keep it clean and sorted and organized. So I am very satisfied with this. I am going to leave this project here. Like I said before, I may fancy it up a little bit, but we'll see. I'm not 100% done because I still have to gather enough iron to make all of the chains so that the whole thing looks like this. I want those chains around there. It's just aesthetic. They don't protect against anything. I mean, you can walk right over them. You know, it's not like they're fences where it's keeping things out. And I also need to put fence gates here on every single one. Again, just aesthetics. But I'm satisfied for now. I'm calling this project complete. So, welcome back to the vanilla world. We'll see if this sticks around or if I can get some work done on Homestead. I have some suspicions about that, but I guess you'll just have to wait and see. I'll talk to you soon, brother. I miss you.